Guys, welcome back. It's another 1 hour of Pilates mat practice, and we're just going to be using our bodies today. So let's go ahead and get started. We are going to begin lying on our back. And of course, we'll start with the knees bent and feet grounded to the floor. Taking a moment to really line the knees and feet up with your hip bones in the front body. Making sure that all 10 toes are pointing forward, the feet are running parallel, and that the ankles are slid beneath the knees. The arms are going to extend down long and then start to angle them out, slide about 45 degrees out. That can help to broaden the chest and open up the shoulders. Palms facing up to do that as well. The crown of your head is going to reach to the back of your mat and your chin is going to draw down and land about fist distance away from your chest. So always remembering during your practice, want to imagine that you're holding a tennis ball lightly in that space. And letting the eyes close, which brings the focus more inward, we begin to connect here with our breath. So let's start by taking an inhale through the nose. And then a steady exhale through the mouth. Again, breathing in big through the nose, filling to the top. Softly purse your lips and exhale a steady stream of air until you empty out completely down to the very bottom. Then you'll breathe in from the pit of your belly. It will fill into the ribs, then it will draw to the top of your chest. Pause, breathe here. Then when you exhale, you want to empty from the top of your chest, press down through your ribs, and then squeeze it all out through the lower belly region. So rise and fall. You'll breathe in and expand the ribs out wide as the lungs fill with air. As you breathe out, you're going to knit the ribs back to midline and squeeze the breath out from beginning to end. Let's stay with that easy breath in through the nose. But now let's force the breath out with power. Audible, strong. Breathing in with ease, your belly rises. Breathing out with power, the lower belly draws down deeply, feeling the navel pull down towards your spine. Your abdominal muscles will disengage and relax when you breathe in. Then they're going to contract and activate when you breathe out. So really feeling and noticing the dichotomy between the two. And let's continue to breathe here. Building up the relationship between your breath and your core. Seeing if you can pull the abs in more deeply each time you breathe out. And letting this time also be to clear your mind, set everything aside, and be really focused and present for your practice. Let's take 3 more cycles of breath. One more here. Inhale deep from bottom to top. And then exhale out from top to bottom, opening your eyes. Then we'll pull the arms in closer, turn the palms to face down and press the tricep muscles to the earth. Breathe in here. Keep the arms grounded. Exhale, firm up your belly, lift your feet off the ground and slowly bring the knees to the chest. Then place your hands on your knees when they arrive and begin to rock gently side to side, staying with the tempo of your breath so the quality doesn't get lost while you massage out your back. From side to side, you'll then begin to create a circular motion with the legs, using your hands for guidance. Rolling out and massaging through your lower back now, just above the tailbone. Taking a moment to pause, then reverse direction, breathing in big Exhaling all the way back out. And then slowly begin to bring your legs back into stillness, nicely centered. Well, then next, when we inhale, separate the legs this time and open them up nice and wide. When you breathe out, the legs are going to circle around and reconnect again, coming back together. So inhale, we open up the legs, and then we circle through when we breathe out, working on mobility of hips. Let's take 4 more. I want you to pause at the top of your inhale, breathe when the legs are opened up the widest before continuing on breathing out. 3 more. The circular movement is also going to help to massage out your hip flexors that often grip a lot during core workouts. Let's do 2 more. So make sure your hands always stay in contact with your knees to help support this movement. One last time, we're going to open up, we're going to pause, breathe. Good, and then circle around and come back together again with your legs. Once they have joined, let's place both hands on the right knee as you stretch your left leg to the floor and flex the foot, feeling that leg anchor to the earth. Then using both of your hands, I want you to hug your right leg in closer to your body and then actively drop your shoulders away from your ears. We're stretching into our glute and our lower back here. As we hug our leg in, I also want you to start to draw circles with your right foot. Take your time. Full range of motion on these circular movements as you roll out and warm into the ankle. Reverse direction. Wonderful, then the foot will come into still. The right arm comes out to its side, plug that shoulder to the floor. Using your left hand and breath work, slowly cross leg to your left side as you look over right shoulder. Gently easing yourself into spinal twists. We don't always arrive here right away, so take your time, right? Every breath out, let yourself settle some more. Let go some more. Sometimes, especially early in the morning, my spine might be a little bit stiff, right? So making sure that you're not forcing it or rushing it. Big breaths in to expand your midsection. Long exhales to contract. Let's stay here 2 more times. Inhale deep. Exhale it out. 1 more time. Breathe in big. Now activate your core as you exhale very slowly. Unwind your body. Return back to centered space. Once you've centered, release the right leg. Stretch it out to meet your left and flex the foot. Then your left leg will draw in, both hands will hold on, and you'll hug the leg to body. Drop the shoulders from ears and broaden your chest. Also make sure the chin doesn't poke to sky. Remember, we're still holding on to that imaginary tennis ball. Let's draw circles now with the left foot, taking your time here. Reversing direction. While taking the foot into still and extending the left arm to its side now. Crossing the leg over to your right side, taking your time. Looking over that left shoulder as much as you can. Spinal twist on the other side. Really make sure that the back of your left shoulder doesn't lift off the ground, but if it had, we're just going to press it back down. We're going to let that left leg become a little heavier each time we breathe out. We'll stay here for 2 more cycles, breathing in and out. Once more here, breathe in big. Firm up your belly and unwind slowly, returning to center as you exhale. Then once you've centered yourself, we're going to bend the knees, ground the feet, and open the arms out to T. Your feet are going to step out this time a little bit wider than shoulder width distance apart. Knees will do the same. You want to have a wide stance with your legs. What we'll be doing here is coming back into our hip flexors, working back into the lower back. And then also this is going to be a core exercise. So engaging the abdominal region to help assist with leg movement. On your inhale, want your legs to lower over towards the right side of your mat. As you breathe out, I want you to firm up your belly. Use your core strength to lift your legs to center. Then the legs will lower over to the left. And then exhaling to center once again. Continuing to work side to side. Overall, you don't want the upper body to be lifting or peeling off the ground. So really anchoring your arms, your shoulder blades, and your spine to earth. The lower back is going to lift and rotate just a little bit. So that's why you may notice that the legs don't get all that close to the ground. Legs should also feel like they're along for the ride. And that your abdominals do most of the work here. Let's take one more to each. Back over to your right, breathing in. Pulling up on the exhale. Once more here, over to the left on an inhale. Firm up, pull up, exhale, and then land center. Step your feet back into a more narrow stance and take the arms back in beside you. Next, we're going to take the right leg and cross it over the left leg. So imagine you're sitting into a chair, cross-legged here. Then we'll draw both knees towards the body, and then with our hands, we're going to hold on to either leg as far down as we can reach without our shoulders scrunching up to our ears. Once we have hold of our legs, I want you to pull them back equally, bringing them in closer to your body. When that happens, our tailbone begins to lift. So what you'll do here is you'll continue the energy of hugging the legs in, but then you're going to also drop your tailbone back into the floor. Your feet, they can stay low and relaxed as they are with me right here. Or if you wish, you can flex your feet and begin to lift the legs up, or the feet up rather. The legs will come a bit more into 90 degrees. And that might be something you want to explore. It will change the stretch a little bit to your outer hip and your glute. So we're just going to breathe into the space here. You could also offer very slow and gentle rocking movements side to side, and sometimes that too can change and shift sensation. Take big breaths in and long breaths out. Let's stay here 3 more cycles of breath. One more time here, breath in. As you breathe out, release the stretch, uncross the legs, taking your feet back to the ground. We're going to switch to the other side. Left leg will cross over right leg. Then the knees will pull back towards body, holding on where you can on the legs, and then pulling back on them, drawing them in closer. From there, the tailbone will actively press back down to the floor, which then you're creating your push and pull energy, which is really important in most of our stretches so that we get the full benefit of that. Remember, feet can stay low or feet can flex and begin to lift, your choosing. I'm going to stay low this time on this side. And again, movement could be an option here as well, but not a requirement. I just want you to notice and breathe into your left outer hip. Stay here for 3 more rounds of breath. One more here, inhaling. Exhaling, releasing stretch, uncrossing legs and bringing both feet back to the ground with arms back beside you again. We're going to work into our hamstrings next. We'll lift the right leg, up to the sky, hold from behind, and now anchor the tailbone down again. Next, you're going to press the leg into your hands and away from your body to lengthen out the back side of it. And then you'll meet that energy by using your hands now to pull the leg in a little closer. We don't want our knee to bend, so making sure the leg is as straight as it can be. Tailbone rerouting if it peeled up, and softening the shoulders if they pulled to your ears. Stretching into the hamstring to start at the back of the leg. In this space, I'd then like you to also flex your right foot and notice the added stretch into your calf muscle. And then as you point the toes, that stretch transitions to the shin and the top of the foot. Do that again. Heel to sky, hold and feel. And then point the toes to also hold and feel. Once again, flexing of the foot. And then pointing of the toes. And we'll go ahead and relax the foot, release the stretch, bend knee and take foot to the ground. We'll do that on the other side, left leg lifting up. Holding from behind and then anchoring the tailbone to earth. Push energy first, pressing away from body, and then meeting that by pulling in. Nice long leg. Nice big breath. And soften where you can. Staying here, let's flex the left foot now, heel to sky. And then point the toes. Again, flexing of the foot. And pointing of the toes. And we'll do that once more. Heel to sky. And point the toes. We'll relax the foot, release the stretch, bend knee, take foot to ground. Let's make sure the knees and feet are back to hip width. Make sure also ankles are slid and stacked beneath your knees. Arms fully extended down, close and beside you, feeling the fingertips actively reach towards your heels. Some shoulder mobility next. When you take an inhale, I want both of your arms to lift up to the sky, then back behind you. As the arms reach back, seal the ribs in tight. And then as you breathe out, I want the arms to circle out and down. And again, arms reach up and overhead. Make sure the spine imprints so your back doesn't arch. And then circle out, sweep in. A couple more. Inhale overhead. Your belly should start to activate here, right? Core strength. Keep it engaged as you circle through with the arms. One more time, feeling the movement really stem from your shoulder joints. Then open out and circle in. Let's now add to this, working more into our core. We'll start the same. Inhale, arms overhead. Now, as we breathe out, I want you to lift up your head, your neck, your shoulders, circle the arms down, but this time they're going to land in a hovered space just above the floor. Then the head and shoulders come back down as the arms lift up and over. Ab curl, arms hover. 2 more times here. Inhale, coming down, reaching back. Use your core strength to lift you up. Arms to hover. Once more, coming down, breathing in, arms overhead. Circle through, lift up, stay lifted in space, pump the arms, make sure everything else does not move, and the movement itself stems from the shoulders. For 5, pump it up, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then rest and release. Turn the head gently from side to side, right? So the arms, you really have to lock them out. If they start to pump and they're loose, it's going to create waves and noodles. And then the body isn't quite engaged enough, so other parts begin to move, shift, and jostle. So when you have those arms really locked up stiff, and the movement stems from here, the shoulder, rather than the hands, there's a greater chance of you being able to stabilize everything else within you. All right, let's go ahead and bring our legs next into a tabletop position. This is still a core exercise. Your hip flexors are going to be very tempted to take over. So be mindful. We really want to be homing in on the lower abdominal region. But first, finding tabletop. Often we pull the knees in too close. Why? Because it's easier. If our knees are in close, our core doesn't actually have to engage or work because nothing really, for the most part, has to be protected. But if you're in a full expression of tabletop, our lower back needs support through our abdominals. So what you'll do here is taking your hands just below your knees, right on your thighs, slowly begin to push the legs away until you feel your tailbone rooting straight down. Notice here my knees are now stacked above my hips, and this is proper tabletop. You may have also noticed the abdominals starting to tighten up here to hold our legs in space. It's helpful to either have pointed toes or flexed feet here so that the leg muscles engage to keep your legs in a 90-degree angle, as that angle will never change. With your arms, they could be in close beside you, pressed in. If you want more support, take them to T. If you want less support, lift and stack them. We'll do this unilaterally, one leg at a time. We're going to come down with the right leg on an inhale. And then breathing out, firm in your belly, use your core strength to lift that leg back up and make sure that knee doesn't pull in too close. Then the left leg is going to come downward. Notice the shape of my legs haven't changed because I'm lowering and lifting through hip joint here. Right side again is going to lower to a level that you can maintain, so that may or may not mean the foot actually touches ground. Left side, inhaling. So we're isolating, we're controlling. Let's do one more to each. Right side, inhale. Then really pull the abs in deep. Feel that slow lift. One last time to the left side, coming down, breathing in. Drawing up. Once it's stacked, knees to body, hands on knees, and rock gently side to side. So just kind of warming into the abdominal region here. We'll come back into stillness. We'll release the arms at our sides, nice and close, pressed and firm, spine imprinted, belly tightened. Let's breathe in here. Now, as we breathe out, I want you to slowly extend both of your legs away from the body, pointing the toes to find length through them at the end. And then draw the legs back in again on an inhale. So again, when you extend your legs, being mindful, higher to sky has more ease, closer to floor has more heat. Draw the legs back in again for your abdominals. Yeah, let's do 4 more. 4. Pull back in. Again, the movement stems from your hips. Exhale, reach out through hips, then thighs, then shins, then tops of feet, then the toes. Then when you draw in from the hips, the thighs, the knees, and then the heels. Pull in. 2 more like that. Exhale, extension of the legs away from, feel the belly tightening. Draw legs in on an inhale. One last time here, let's extend those legs away from body, keep them extended, and then flutter kick. Paddle from your hips here, working into lower abdominal pelvic floor. 4, 3, 2, 1, and then pull it in and recover again, rest. You can take some movement here, whatever feels good for body, or you can stay in stillness if that's what you prefer as well. Okay. Let's next lift both legs to sky with pointed toes. Much like tabletop, when our legs extend up, we often tend to pull them in closer. So pressing away with the legs till the tailbone roots. Your knees will be stacked above your hips, but your feet, well, for the most part, are going to be generally slightly more in front. And then with pointed toes to lock up the legs, we're going to externally rotate our thighs. So the heels kind of angle in, toes splay out. So your feet, like my hands here, create just a subtle V shape. When you take your breath in, I want both of your legs to open up as wide as they can. We're going to work into mobility of hips again through core strengthening. Then as you breathe out, sweep the legs downward, reconnect them, and then lift them back up to starting point. Double leg circles, opening the legs wide as you can, breathing in. The further down you sweep those legs, the more intense it will be. So you can stay shallow with that and then lift up. 2 more, open, slow. Circle through. Once more in this direction, inhale to open. Exhale to circle around and lift up. Now we're going to reverse the direction here. Breath in, both legs start to lower to begin. Then as you breathe out, open out, circle up, and reconnect. So now the lowering of the legs is where the intensity lies. Let's do 2 more. Coming down. Opening and circling up. One last time here. Inhale, lowering. Lifting, good. Draw knees in and recover here. So anytime your arms are grounded for an exercise, you want to make sure they're also working. If our arms are just like relaxed and heavy, they're kind of hindering us. So making sure they're locked up, pressed down, and that also will help support your body with whichever movement or exercise you're taking. All right, let's go ahead and just check the time here really brief to see where we are. Okay, wonderful. I want us to work into our hundreds next. So I'm going to start with the knees drawn in. We're going to start with our arms stacked and lifted above our shoulders. Palms are turned forward. It's helpful to like pinch your fingers together tight. That starts to lock your hand out. Then the wrist, and then really just locking everything up. So remember, your arm is like a stiff board. We'll take a breath in. And then as you breathe out, extend out your legs, lift up head, neck, and shoulders, and lower the arms to hover. From this space, you can lower the legs further for more intensity. You could have a little bend in the knees or even take legs to tabletop to modify. And you can also always take your head back to the floor. Let's start to pump the arms vigorously. Remember, pumping from the shoulders. And we inhale for 5 counts, 3, 4, 5. Then we exhale for 5. Good. Here's 20, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale. Good. 30. 40, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale. Good. Here's 50. 60. 70. Good. Here's 80. 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale. 2 more sets. 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale. Last 10. 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale. 2, 3, 4. 100. Release it and recover. So that movement can really get the blood pumping, the heart rate up, and increasing some body heat. And then notice how strongly I was breathing. I was really pushing, forcing that breath out. That's automatically going to go straight to your powerhouse and really start to firm up those abdominal muscles. All right, let's go ahead and get a nice juicy back body stretch next through roll up. So we're going to take our feet to the ground and then extend the legs out long with flexed feet, pushing through heels, lifting up the toes. The arms are going to stretch back behind us. Ribs are going to seal down and pubic bone will zip up to the navel. When you take your inhale, you'll begin to peel your body up. Start with arms, head, and shoulders, and never stop or hesitate. Just continue to lift up as you breathe out to bring your body to seated. And then you're going to take a deep fold and stretch over your legs. Your head is heavy through arms and your feet still stay flat. You'll stack up when you take an inhale. When you exhale, tuck the tailbone, round the spine, scoop out your belly, push through your feet, and control yourself to the floor once again. And then never let your legs relax. They're constantly working. Let's begin again. Inhale, start it up. Lift your heart to the sky. Good posture first before your fold to stretch deeply into the backside. Let's stack back up, breathing in. Make sure you look forward as you come down. Remember that tennis ball is still being held between your chin and your chest. Let's do 2 more. One last time. Beautiful. After your last one, circle the arms back beside you, bring them in close and press them down firm. So I have to readjust here. That roll up can kind of shift your body a little bit. Yeah. All right. So from here, I want you to draw one knee into chest, then the other. And then from there, lift your legs to the sky. We're going to be working on strengthening our lower abdominals through a warm up of hip ups. So let's cross our right ankle over our left ankle and then really squeeze our inner thighs together, point the toes to lock up the legs. We're using a lot of our upper back and arm strength here as well. So press all that to the floor, breathing in. Exhale, arms push down and hips lift up. Just like that. It's quick, punchy, and short. Breathe in again. Lift up. So let's do 6 more here. Nice vertical lift. 2 more. Last one. Good. Uncross your ankles and switch. Left ankle over right. Pointed toes. Legs squeeze. Breathe in. Hip ups. Good. 6 more. 2 more. Last one. Good. Uncross the ankles, knees to chest, and give yourself a moment to rest. Ooh, that got me heated up. So that was just a kind of a warm up and prep exercise for the rollovers, which we'll do next. Following the roll-ups, in terms of breath and linking to movement, it's very similar, except instead of our upper body lifting and shifting and moving like we did in the roll up, it's now our legs that do that and our upper body stays anchored and grounded. So we're going to start with the arms on our sides and legs lifted to sky. This time our ankles are uncrossed in this space. You're still going to be using your triceps, upper back, and lower abdominals to help give a little bit more oomph for this next lift. So roll overs. Take a breath in to prepare. Exhale, arms press down, hips lift up, and legs come up and overhead. Make sure that when the legs land overhead, that the weight is still in your shoulders and shoulder blades, not your neck. We're going to stay here, breathe in. And then on the exhale, we're going to roll back down to our mat, one vertebra at a time. So arms have to really, really work here to help support you. If you were like, no way, Jose, can my hips come off the ground like that? You can use your hands. So watching for this second one with a modified variation, breathe in, prepare. As soon as your hips come up, slide your hands underneath to help give them a little assistance, lifting up and letting the legs kind of fold over. Stay here, breathing in. And then you can always use your hands for guidance as you come down. Just make sure that you don't let yourself dump all of your weight into the hands. They're just there for assistance. Make sure your abdominals still work hard in that space. We're going to go ahead and do 4 more in any variation that works for your body. Breathe in, prepare. Arms push down. Legs fold back. Stay here, breathing in. And then exhale, if you want more of a challenge, start to levitate the legs first, almost like a pike coming down to the earth. 3 more. Inhale. Good. 2 more times, guys. Inhale. Arms strong. Weight in the shoulders. One last time, inhaling. Beautiful. Once your legs have stacked, we're going to keep them there. So make sure your tailbone roots. When you take your next inhale, we're going to shift our legs slightly over to the right, just a little bit. Then a very small circle we'll draw, exhaling, sweeping downward, across over to the left, and then restacking the legs above hips. Corkscrew. Inhale, now we'll shift our legs to the left to begin. And then circling around slowly. We want to make sure our pelvis is anchored so the backs of your hips aren't rocking or seesawing. Over to the right again, breathing in. And this is all in your abdominals, strengthening to help secure your pelvis. Left side, inhale to begin. Follow through with the breath out. 2 more in each direction. Inhale to initiate. Exhale. Finish through. Press those arms down into the floor. Let's do 1 more to each. Breath into the right. Circle downward over to the left. Restack the legs. 1 last time. Inhale to the left side. Circling through, breathing out. Upon completion, knees to chest, hands on knees, and some movement or stillness here to recover. Okay, from here, we're going to start to rock ourselves forward and back, up and down spine, until we can rock up to a seated position. At seated, you're going to lengthen your legs out in front of you. I'm just taking a quarter turn so you can see me a little bit more easily. And then with your legs extended out in front, that can be a full extension, or if you find within your body, sometimes keeping a little bend in your knees does allow you to sit up a little bit more taller. So if you find that within you, certainly bend those knees. But we're all going to keep our feet flexed and our legs hugged tight together. We're going to bring our arms out to a T, spread fingers wide, palms forward. I want you to feel your energy of fingertips reach from one wall to the other wall. And then behind you, your shoulder blades, imagine there was a lemon wedged between those shoulder blades. You want to squeeze that lemon and pull it down to your tailbone. And lift up the heart and pull the belly in and breathe in. Without your hips shifting, I want you to rotate to your right. Using your waistline strength, not leading with your arms. Return to center on an inhale. Keep squeezing that imaginary lemon behind you as you twist over to your left and feel the right arm resist you by pulling back just slight. Return to center. So the rotations won't be all that big, but the work will be more beneficial that way. Eyes move along the horizon as you twist here, getting taller as you rotate. Come back to center on an inhale. Make sure your pelvis isn't shifting or moving. We'll take it over to the left, like a spiral staircase, starting at the base and climbing up. Return back to center, breathing in. 1 more to each. Squeeze the breath out. Inhale to center. Like your torso were a wet towel, you want to wring out that towel, rotating to your left. We'll come back to center. We'll stay centered. We'll draw circles with our arms, still working into shoulders and upper back muscles and using core now to stabilize the rest of the body. Breathe steady. 3, 2, 1. Let's pause and reverse direction. Still feel the energy of your fingertips reaching from one side of the room to the other. 3, but still squeeze that lemon. 2, good. 1. And then melt forward, let go of your feet, your upper body, your head, your arms all hang heavily over the legs. I want you to take a deep breath into your upper back. And then a long breath out. Let's do that again. Breathe into your backside. Exhale away. 1 more time, inhale. Breathing out, I want you to slowly restack the spine 1 vertebra at a time, allowing the head to be the last thing that comes up. Once it has, let's go ahead and cross our legs to come into seated position. Arms will be beside us with tented fingers and then stepping the hands to the side so the arms kind of angle out about 45 degrees. I want us to take a brief moment to kind of stretch into the neck and shoulder region, which can also be a common area of tension. So we want to sit nice and tall and want to imagine there's a string at your right ear and that string gets pulled down to the shoulder. So remembering, we're not going to twist or turn our head at all. Your face squares forward. It's just a tilt of your head. If it's available to you here in this space, you can wrap your right arm around your head, placing the hand along the left side, and then lightly pressing down. Sometimes when we do this, we start to lose our posture. So make sure your chest is drawing up and your shoulders are pulling back. Wonderful. Then when you take an inhale, I want you to lower your chin towards chest. We're still keeping the tilt in the head. And then as you breathe out, lift your chin towards the sky. Again, chin towards chest when you breathe in. Chin towards the sky as you breathe out. Let's do that again. So when we lower our chin towards chest, it starts to stretch more to the back side of the neck. Then as you lift the chin towards sky, it stretches more into the front side of the neck. Let's bring our head back to starting position. Once there, we can release the hand and let the arm come down. And then very lastly, we'll lift the head gently back up. Because this is such a sensitive stretch, we want to make sure that it's the last thing that stacks. Let's do the other side. String on your left ear now, pulling it down towards your left shoulder. If you'd like, that left arm can wrap, hand along the right side, lightly pressing in on the side of the head, and then watching and restructuring your posture if it had gotten lost. Sitting upright, we'll breathe into lower chin towards chest, back side of neck gets a little bit more of a stretch. And then exhale the chin towards sky. Again, chin coming downward, breathing in. Chin lifting upward, breathing out. Once more, chin to chest, breath in. Chin to sky, breath out. Head will come back to starting position, and then the hand will release, the arm will come down. We'll slowly lift the head up, and then we'll take some gentle tips from side to side. And we'll work into some nods, straight up and down, chin to chest, and chin to sky here. Nice vertical movement, down towards the chin, or down towards the chest rather, and then up towards the sky. We'll do that one more time. Chin drawing down to the chest. Chin lifting towards the sky. And then let's look straight ahead. Wonderful. From here, we're going to transition to lie down on our stomach. We're going to continue to work the back of our body. Shoulders, upper, middle, lower back, glutes, and the front side also gets worked. So transitioning onto your stomach, we are going to start with our hands underneath our shoulders. Fingers spread wide and arms hugged in really close to your sides. Your elbows, we don't want them pointing to the sky. We want them pointing to the heels. And then we don't want our forearms grounded. We want them lifted off the floor. So you have to find that sweet spot with your hands in the space. My head is lifted here so that you can hear me, but you're going to have your forehead grounded to the earth so that your neck is lined up with your spine. Even though your hands are grounded in this space, we're never going to push off the ground with our hands. They're just there for support. We're going to be focusing on strengthening the muscles between the shoulder blades, the rhomboids, and the front and the abdominals. We're coming into baby swan. Let's take a breath in while we're here in beginning space. As you breathe out, I want you to lift up your head and your chest as if they were one solid piece, not two separates. So you're never going to push your chin forward. Remember, you're holding that tennis ball still. And then come back down, breathing in. All right, so my neck has never left the extension of my spine. So as I breathe out, I'm lifting head and chest. And when the head and chest come up, I want you to feel your shoulder blades hug in and then slide down towards your tailbone. And then come back down, breathing in. Another key trick to help engage that area of your body, when you lift up again, I want you to feel the energy of your hands as if they're trying to drag to the back of your mat. They're not going to physically move, but the idea of it will help to engage the upper back muscles. Float down, breathing in. Let's do 2 more of these. Exhale, head and heart come up, and as they do, also try to pull your belly up and away from the ground. It won't physically leave, but it will engage the muscles. Let's come down, breathing in. One last time, exhale, belly in and up, head and heart lifted, shoulder blades in and down. And then go ahead and bring yourself back to the earth once again. Once you have, let's go ahead and pull the arms out in front of us, cross one arm over the other, and then we can rest our forehead onto our forearms. So we're going to do a variation of that baby swan we just did. It's going to be 4 distinct points of the movement. So just be mindful that we don't blend them, they stay separate. When you take your inhale, point number 1, you lift up your head and your chest, just like we once had. Keep it there. Now, point 2, we're going to pull the arms up to meet the hairline on the exhale. Point 3, inhale, the arms just come down. And then lastly, point 4, the head and heart release back to the earth. We'll do that again. Inhale, the head and chest come up. Press your hips into the floor. Then as you exhale, arms to hairline. Then the arms come down on inhale. Then the head and chest lowers down on the exhale. We're adding in middle back strengthening. Let's do 2 more. Inhale, head and heart find lift. Try to keep them there as the arms draw up to meet the hairline. Then just the arms coming down, breathing in. And the head and chest coming down, breathing out. Last one here. Inhale, find the lift. So just arms come down, breathing in. Head and chest coming down, breathing out. We're going to stay here in this space. We're essentially traveling down our backside. So next we'll work with lower back and glute strengthening. We just want to make sure that our feet are shoulder width distance apart. And also our pelvic triangle. So your 2 hip bones and your pubic bone, all 3 points equally pressed to ground. This will do 3 things. Number 1, it's going to stabilize and lock up your pelvis. Number 2, it's also with that locking up security wise of pelvis, it protects your lower back. And then lastly, it will help more with the lift. Let's take a breath in. As you breathe out, squeeze your glutes, and I want you to lift your legs off the ground, point your toes and reach as far back as you can. And take the legs down when you breathe in. Make sure you initiate with your glutes first. So exhale, squeeze the buns, then begin the lift. That's again to ensure the lower back doesn't get compressed. Then lower down, breathing in. We're also making sure that when we lift up, we're not kicking them up quick. We're using the entire breath to get there. So we're peeling up slow. Come down on an inhale. Again, squeeze the buns, lift the legs. And then take it back down to the floor. Let's do 2 more of these. Exhale, lift. Inhale, release. One last time, squeeze the glutes, lift the legs, point the toes. Flex your feet, now externally rotate, and then try to clap your heels towards each other. Thighs are up for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then legs come all the way down. Bend your knees, lift your feet to sky, windshield wiper your legs side to side. Nice lower back release here. Then from side to side, let's stretch the legs behind us and draw them close together. Uncross arms, slide your hands underneath shoulders, and very slowly and gently, you're going to press back into a closed-legged child's pose, sitting back to your heels, folding over the thighs. Keeping your legs together helps to stretch more into your lower back, and that's where we're going to breathe. So take a deep breath into that space. Then exhale, let it go. Again, big breath in. Long breath out.
One more time here. Inhale, deep and full. And then as you breathe out, slowly roll and stack yourself up
to a seated position. And from here, we're now going to transition to lie down on our left side body. Working into some outer hip strengthening here. So coming down onto your left side, you just want to make sure that you line yourself up straight and that you're stacked up. Your right hand will come onto your hip and your elbow will point to the sky. You want to push out through both of your heels. And you want to feel the entire left side of your body pressed into the floor, while your right leg will hover off and the leg rolls in slight so that the toes stay pointing forward, but they don't begin to angle to the sky. You're gonna look straight on here as well to line your neck up with your spine, and we'll take a deep breath in while we're here. Breathing out, use your hip strength to pull that right leg up. And then hover the leg when you breathe in. Again, as you exhale, push through the heel and lift up the leg. And then hover the leg, breathing in. Let's do 4 more here. 4. Good. Hover with resistance. 3 more. Each time the leg is lifting, the core should firm up. Hover when you breathe in. We'll do that 2 more times. Lift. Good. Hovering. Once more here. Exhale, pull the leg up. And then we'll take that leg back to hovered space. Once it has hovered again, we're now going to point the toes. We're then going to externally rotate the thigh, and then we're also going to bring the leg slightly out in front of us. Keep that elbow exactly where it is. When you take a breath in, I want you to tap that foot to the floor in front of you 2 times. Tap, tap. Then when you exhale, I want you to lift that leg up nice and high. Then we're going to tap behind on the floor on an inhale. Twice, and then lift up, breathing out. Continue to alternate front and back without the upper body shifting. So this does require a fair amount of core and a fair amount of hip strength to control the lift of the leg. We're not just swinging it up with momentum, we're pulling it up through the strength of our muscle. All right, so there's a difference. If we swing up, we're not really strengthening much, and we're also going to lose a bit of control over our bodies. So be mindful of each. Tap, tap, lift. Let's do 2 more to the front and 2 more behind us. Good. To the back. 1 more each, right? To the front. Tap, tap. To the back behind. Tap, tap. Let's lift the leg up high. Let's take the leg down so that the legs are about shoulder width apart. Reflex the foot, roll the leg back in, and then we pulse, pulse, pulse. So we always emphasize lift, never drop. 5, pulsing up. 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. Let that leg slowly come down. Ooh, bend the knee to the floor in front and take a moment just to tap out that hip. You probably feel that it's kind of burning, really tired. So it builds up a lot of lactic acid when we do those movements. So this is a nice way just to kind of tap it out, break it up, and release and recover. Okay. Let's go ahead and straighten that right leg back out again. Sorry guys, I was trying to figure out which side I was on. And then rest on the left arm. We're going to reach our right arm to the side with the palm turned forward, fingers spread out and shoulder plugged in. Let's point toes and squeeze legs in tight. We're going to be working the waistline. Let's breathe in while we're here. Cinch in your right side and then lift up your head and lift up your legs as you breathe out. It's a small lift. Take it down as you breathe in. Again, lifting. And coming back down. We're going to do 4 more of these. 4. And release. 3 more, lifting. And lowering. We've got 2 more left to go. When we come up, that right hand is still reaching straight up to the sky, so the arm doesn't pull down. Right. With our last one here, let's lift up that leg. Let's stay lifted in space and hold it here. Breathing. 3, 2, 1. Good. And then gently come down, release and let go. Wonderful. We're going to do that on the other side. So however it's the easiest for you to transition onto your right side body. Once you've made your way there, remembering you're in a straight line and you're stacked up, the hand comes onto your hip, the elbow points to the sky. Push through heels, anchor down your right side, hover your left leg and roll it in just a tad. Looking straight on, and we begin again. When you breathe out, hip strength pulls the leg up. Hover when you breathe in. So everything else in our body should really be like a statue, not moving at all. Lifting the left leg, making sure the toes don't angle up, and hovering the leg with resistance. Let's do 4 more. 4, belly firming. Hover when you breathe in. 3 more. Good, hovering down. 2 more times, slow pull up to your hover. Once more here. And we're going to take that leg back to hovered space once it has pointing toes, external rotation, and then drawing the leg slightly in front. Check that elbow. Sometimes it falls back, so we just want to stack back up. When you take your inhale, 2 taps to the ground with that left foot. Breathing out, lift leg up to sky, then 2 taps behind you on an inhale. And lifting to sky. We continue to alternate here. This is where our upper body can really get thrown off balance. So be mindful. Your right leg is still anchoring down and working for you. So is your right arm and the right side of your body as well. Your core is pulled in tight. And that left leg that's moving is stiff like a board and using muscle strength. Tap, tap, lift. We're doing 2 more to the front and 2 more to the back again. Good. Tap, tap. 1 more to each, to the front. Lift. Behind you, tap, tap, lift. Good. We're going to take that leg down so the legs are about shoulder width apart. We're going to roll the leg back in and we're going to reflex the foot. From here, we're going to pulse it, pulse it, pulse it. Push through heel, lift with hip. 5, 4, good. 3, 2, 1. Good. Leg comes slowly down. Woo, feeling that burn. Let's bend the knee to the floor. Let's tap out that hip or rub it out, whichever feels best. And we will stretch those hips afterwards. But in the meantime, we are going to work our left side body, the waist. So when you're ready, let's go ahead and stretch that left leg long. Let's rest on the right arm and lift the left arm to sky. Spread fingers, shoulder plugged, toes pointed, legs squeezed, breathing in. So left side of our body here, cinch it in, lift up head, lift up legs. Come down on your inhale. You may notice one side can be a little bit more challenging than the other. Exhale. And that's just an indication that we as humans are just in balance between right and left side. We do have a dominant side overall, right? So one side is a little bit more balanced, has a little bit more strength and flexibility than the other. Let's do 4 more of these. 4. Coming down. 3 more. Good. Bringing it down. Let's do 2 more. Lifting. Returning back down. This last one here, head and legs find lift. We keep our lift. We don't hold our breath. 3, maybe a little bit higher. 2, hug those legs tight. 1. Good. And then slowly take everything down, down, down. Wonderful. Let me check the time here. Wonderful. Let's come up to seated. Let's get into our butterfly stretch to get into those hips. So once you've sat up, soles of the feet are going to come together. You're going to sit up very tall. You're going to lean forward, hinging from your hips to pull in closer to your legs. You'll start to round your spine, but start at your base at tailbone. So you're going to round your lower back, your middle back, your upper, then the head is going to be the last thing that partially comes down. All the while, your heart's trying to reach beyond your toes, your belly button stretching closer up to your heels. And we breathe big into our hips. Deep inhale. Long and steady exhale. We'll do a couple more here. Deep breath in. Steady breath out. Once more, inhale. As you breathe out, begin to slowly stack it back up. Lower back, middle back, upper back, and then the head comes up last. From here, we'll cross our legs, ground our sits bones, lift our heart up, arms beside us and palms to sky. To finish, we'll take an inhale to reach the arms out, lift them up and lightly touch the hands above us. And then as we breathe out, we'll pull the hands down through midline and connect to our heart center. 2 more times. Inhale, reaching down, out and up. And then exhale, hands to the heart. Last one here, guys. Inhale, high to the sky, long in the side bodies. And then exhale, as you bring your hands to your heart, you're going to keep them there. You'll lower your chin to chest and you'll close the eyes, bowing into yourself so that you take this time here at the end of practice to thank yourself for carving out time in your day to be here, to show up to your practice, for being present for your practice, mindful and focused to tune in and tap into your body, your mind, and your soul. And then for listening to, honoring, and respecting your body to keep it forever moving so that we can have a lifetime of Pilates practice. Thank you guys so much for tuning in once again. Hoping you're enjoying this one with many more to follow. See you guys next week. Have a great rest of your day.